What's up, people? How we doing, apes? This is Titan. Titan was outside my freaking Airbnb. I'll tell you a little story, and then we'll get into the video here. I was here with the Mulligan brothers yesterday, doing some stuff, and this cat showed up outside, kind of dirty, walking around, drinking freaking water off the street, and he just kept following us around. He kept following me around, super friendly, rubbing up against your leg, purring like you wouldn't believe. And I brought him inside. We hung out for a little bit while we were doing some stuff. We tried to find essentially where this dude lived. And every time we'd bring him to a house, he'd just keep following. He'd keep following me. So, I tried to find the owner and bring him where he belongs. And for now, I suppose this is just my cat. So I got him a litter box, got him some cat food, and we've been keeping him clean, feeding him, giving him a place to go. Funny story, I filled the cat box up with litter. And he just automatically, within 2 seconds after it was full, just took a big old piss in there. He's a very smart little dude. So this is Titan. Titan's a very happy little sleepy kitty, having a good old time. Oh man, love this sucker. So I guess now I'm a cat dad. Welcome to the family, Titan. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we freaking talk fast and don't skip class, baby. Like perhaps by saying that I'm not a financial advisor or expert. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. So over the weekend here, we had a lot of sort of noise happen, and there was, honestly a split within the community, and I saw a lot of that, and honestly just wanted to take a step back so I could really process and think about the best way moving forward to essentially give everybody, the apes, what they're looking for. Oh man, Titan's sleeping on the chair, and I think we've kind of come to that sort of conclusion. So this GoFundMe situation that got taken care of. Everybody's gonna get their hopefully their money back, but that got shut down by Chad. And the Ape Fest thing is off the table, right? So the organizers of that, which I have no affiliation with, I was making no money off of them. I've seen that a million times. I'm gonna double down on that thought. I had no reason to BS anybody. He shut it down. He recognized that the community did not want that, and so it shall be. So let's focus on the matter at hand, which is AMC stock, right? The squeeze is still 100% on the table. We need to focus on the things that are the most important for the time being, and that is the squeeze. So with that being said, I think where I can give you the most value, leading into today and leading into the next following days is talking about two main things. I want to talk about Ortex because Ortex, the short interest has gone down here a little bit. And I want to talk about technical analysis and kind of what I expect for August based on what the market is doing, the overall market, the SPY, the NASDAQ, that sort of thing, and how that can affect AMC as a whole. So Ortex, you saw that the short interest actually went down to about 14.85% in the last couple of trade days. It probably would have been Friday or so. And my thoughts on this, what do I think this actually means? So if you're looking here at 14.85%, you also notice that the shares on loan went down and the utilization went down. So the short interest going down in correlation with that doesn't necessarily mean, because this is an estimated short interest that's updated every 2 weeks based on the actual short, shares that are reported, either borrowed or returned to the overall exchanges that were borrowing those shares. So the utilization going down, shares on loan going down, means that this is an estimate, that the short interest estimate could have gone down 6% based on the shares on loan that were returned. This could simply just mean that people who are lending stock or borrowed stock don't want to take on that extra risk that they had taken on before. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. This is, like I said a million times, just an overall trend, gives you an idea, not the holistic picture on what's happening with the overall stock and the price action. I wouldn't sweat it. The shorts still haven't covered their position, the apes still have not left, and there's still systemic problems within the stock market. So those are the big things to pay attention to. But what I find most interesting is that the SPY, the entire market, is actually falling down pretty goddamn hard. And I've said this before. This is a concept that I've talked about more than once on the channel. It's the idea that when you see the market start to pull back, I don't think that AMC stock is going to do the same thing for the entire picture. In the moment, yes, we are down, but I think this is more of a technical sort of up and down, sort of sideways trading before that next big move happens. And I think as the market continues to pull back, just based on a couple different things that are happening, inflation rates came out for June, which was like 5.95% higher than it was last June a year ago. I think it was close to 1% higher, like 0.9 or something from the month before that. You've also got some scares that are happening with the Federal Reserve, people starting to actually wake up to the fact that interest rates might go up. There's just a lot of kind of moving pieces. They're kind of blaming it on Delta, which I find to be a funny excuse for essentially saying, yeah, these guys are pulling out of stocks that they're over leveraged in, but what the fuck do I know? I guess nothing. But what I think is going to happen is as the stock market pulls back, and any sort of big hedge funds or firms have to pull liquidity out, that affects long positions for the downside, but it affects short positions for the upside, which is where I really think that you're going to see AMC get a nice move to the upside. Now, in the short term and the 1 day sort of time frame, you're watching this sort of retest that $32 level of support. It's doing this. It's found a little bit of a zone where I had this box drawn up here, this Fibonacci retracement zone where I thought it would fall back to, and sort of just finding that comfort level there, unless it's going to break down to that $25 range. So I'll give you two scenarios here, things to watch for, right? Based on the things that we know, happening with its overall stock, you could either A, see it break over $38 first and then back into that $40 zone, and you're going to know because it'll get a hard push, similar to what you saw right here with this nice 1 hour candle. You want 1 hour candle to open and close above that overall $38 level. Something to prepare for is if it breaks underneath $32, I expect it to fall back down to this $25.66-ish level cent of support. But I find that scenario to actually be less likely. I think you are going to end up seeing an overall bounce back to the upside to that $38 level. And that's eventually going to bring us back up to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s as it slowly continues to build back up momentum. So I really do think this overall bearish sort of cycle to the downside has come close to an end, and you are going to get that push back to the upside. So with this overall market thing that I was talking about, right, you've got the SPY that's down quite a bit. I think you're going to have a lot of blue chip stocks that kind of pull back a small amount in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, just based on a lot of the things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. I don't think that's going to affect AMC a whole lot. Maybe in a very, very small way right now you're seeing a pullback, and that could reflect somewhat on the overall market, but I think this is more of just uncertainty, right? It's a little bit of this, doing the sideways trading until it gets that momentum back to the upside. And one of the main reasons I think that is even though the volume is slowly starting to get some zone back to the upside, it hasn't quite gotten that parabolic move like what you got right here. The volume hasn't followed through to get the volatility that you need to get that nice upside push. Looking at the MACD indicator down here, you can see that on the daily candles, you are starting that slow descent back to the green candles, which is where you see that nice green bullish momentum where the apes step in and freaking clap some hedgy cheeks. And that's what you're looking for, right? So the slow, steady build up to get that momentum back, to bring in some FOMO, to really force a little bit of gamma squeeze, some shorts to cover their positions, and overall the entire movement. This is something I think is very important. And it's to not to forget your why. Remember your why, your conviction with this overall stock. This last weekend, dude, was testing. That's some fucking mental battles. I mean, that's a real test of conviction, is how far you're willing to go for something that you believe in. And myself personally, that was tested, right? That was something that was tested for me with this last 72 hours, essentially, of all this stuff that happened. Some of it my fault, some of it I understand. It happens. This sort of thing happens. But what remains the same is the overall thesis, the hypothesis behind this AMC stock short squeeze. If you have to take care of your mental health, man, you got to take a step back. Do it. Just do what you got to do, man. All that I care about, or woman, all that I care about is that you have a game plan, you have a reason, a why, a conviction behind anything that you're doing in the stock market, or anything that you're doing in life. So that's kind of the two updates that I want to give you. I wanted to introduce you to my cat Titan. He's a sleepy boy. He's chilling out on the chair right now. And I also wanted to talk about this Ape Fest GoFundMe thing. I think as the apes, we need to move beyond this. It's time to keep our minds on the matter at hand, which is this. This is the ultimate thing that's the most important to me and to the apes, and it shows. And we need to keep our focus on that. So much love to everybody. That's what I've got for you. Blah, blah, blah. English, drop it like scissors. Got my friends. Catch you on the next one. Light taps always. Catch you in the next one. And peace.